Hi. So today we're going to be playing Minecraft, because Minecraft became popular again.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Almost 5 years ago, I started my old Minecraft series. It's not public anymore because it wasn't very good. The episodes were fairly raw, the mic quality was terrible, the music was unbearably loud, and it took me 17 episodes to actually fight the Ender Dragon. So today, I set out on a journey in Minecraft with a goal. Just do better. And I'm not going to take 17 episodes to get anywhere. I'm not going to slack. I don't intend to just beat that time. I intend to destroy it. So let's get going, shall we? Jesus Christ, why is this so dramatic? After giving my world a very fitting name, I loaded it up and had a look around my spawn. I noticed some sugarcane quite close to spawn, and that thankfully reminded me to make a sugarcane farm early. I much prefer that than waiting around for my bookshelves. After collecting it all up, I noticed a village up ahead, and this begins stage 1 of my plan. I think you can see where this is going. I planted all of my sugarcane before finally getting some wood. I also stole all of the villagers' food supplies because I'm a snacky girl. I visited the blacksmith of the village, which actually gave me a decent set of armour, which definitely helped me out. I gathered some stone to make some upgraded tools, and as my first sunset began, I started locking all of the villagers in their houses to keep them safe from the night. Though, not all of them survived. I upgraded all of my tools before gathering some more wood from around the village. I also met a horse too, which I have intent to tame and name Lois. I'll give you 3 guesses as to why it's named that. I found some coal in a hole, and that got me thinking, why haven't I gone mining yet? And so, with courage and curiosity, I set out for the caves in search of some materials. I got deeper and deeper. I started hearing noises and ended up finding a skeleton whose life I claimed for my first monster kill. I eventually found myself approaching Deep Slate, which meant I was getting very deep. I gathered a few more materials before heading down to... Well, I'll go in a minute. I put some iron on to smelt and had a look around the caves nearby to see where would be worth visiting. I made a shield, an iron pickaxe, and a chestplate to finish off my armor set. After all the smelting was finished, I headed down to Deep Slate, though I didn't exactly fall from grace to get down there. Though, my trip down to Deep Slate wouldn't last long. That defeat was the main reason I didn't choose to do hardcore, but it was back to square one for me. However, I didn't hit the caves again. Instead, I opted to start something more devious. I farmed up my sugarcane, replanting what I got so that I would have enough for the future. I gathered a little bit more wood as I was going to need it. While I was gathering materials, I noticed that I wouldn't really need any pistons to transport my villagers, as it was all downhill, meaning that the boats travelled very smoothly down to where I wanted to set them up. I gathered up some sand to cover the grass paths to prevent the boats from getting stuck in the path, as that's always a pain when transporting villagers. I then covered up the path to create a flat surface, which will allow for easier building room later on, as well as a smooth boat surface to work with. And with this, it came time to move our first villager over to the designated spot for them. This one was already quite close, so it was very easy to bring over to this location. I got the second one over, which didn't take much time either, and the rest of them just went down a quick hill, and we got them all there quite quickly. It was a small village, so we didn't have to travel as far, which is always a good thing. We also have an iron golem now, I guess. Now that all the villagers are here, the next course of action is to build a wall to surround them, protecting them from any zombies or pillagers that may show up to harm them. I also forgot to bring all the beds over, so I went ahead and did that as well. With the wall built up and the villagers kept safe, I let them all free from their boats and gave them all jobs. I also cleared out the houses nearby to give myself a little bit of extra wiggle room. I made a few chests to throw some of my junk into to prepare for what I wanted to do next. With me losing almost all of my food in the explosion, I decided to set up a wheat farm, as not only a temporary food source, but a good trading item for the farmers. I got some gravel to collect flints for the fletching tables I want to make for the villagers. The idea is that fletchers will buy sticks for emeralds, so if we get enough fletchers, they'll essentially give us infinite emeralds for basically free. However, while digging for flint, I saw a jellycat, which I'll use as a good opportunity to say rest in peace to the real Jellycat. I'll tame this one in her memory. I jumped in the water, slapped some cod, and tamed jelly in just one kipper. She shall watch over the villagers and protect them from creepers. I fed my villagers to make them do the devil's tango, and I began trading with the Fletchers that I already had. This is going to take a lot of wood, so I'm going to need a hell of a lot of axes for this. I continued demolishing the houses surrounding, repurposing the old roofing for fuel, before setting off on a boating journey to gather me some timber. This is, taking a fucking long time, ain't it? Let's skip ahead a little bit to when I have all my wood. I turned all my logs into sticks and began the process of trading them for emeralds. My first batch of sticks netted me 35 emeralds. With enough of this, I'll have a full monopoly on emeralds. With the emeralds I collected, I figured now would be a good time to start giving my unemployed villagers the jobs I need. For this, I'd need a lectern, blast furnace, smithing table, and grindstone. I knew exactly where I could get the blast furnace from. I realised very quickly that I didn't have any available villagers aside from 3 babies, so I'm going to have to wait for them to grow up before I force a specific career path on them. I cleared the rest of this house out before expanding my line mass to make room for some planted saplings. It will save a few trips back and forth, and tree farming is more eco-friendly than deforestation. Though I am going to need some more wood to trade to my villagers, as well as some saplings that I wasn't collecting before, so I had to take a trip back anyway. Round 2 of stick trading netted me some more emeralds, and I started trading with my armourer, which I finally got, to level them up. Yep, I'm going to end up with a lot of useless iron helmets, aren't I? I kept trading, farming up the wood I was getting from my orchard, and continued leveling up all my villagers until I was able to purchase my first piece of diamond equipment. And no, it will not be my last. It only took a few more trades and a little bit more leveling before I could finish up my full armor set. And with that, I am 1/3 of the way towards my goal. I went to gather some sheep up to start a wool farm, which will help me with breeding villagers. I also found some pumpkins, which reminded me to start a pumpkin farm for future farmer villagers. I reutilised a half-broken down house for the sheep as a temporary home until I have a better place for them. I collected the wool from my sheep to make more beds for my villagers' frick dungeon, before going off and gathering some cows, as I was farming sugarcane this whole time and completely forgot about the leather. Though I forgot how annoying cow AI can be and got a tad frustrated. On my way back, I noticed this mysterious sheep that was stranded on this island. This might need to be a site that we revisit. Me and our cows made our way back to the base. I put the cows in the old butcher's house, again, temporarily until I have a better place to put them. I made a smithing table to make a toolsmith and hunted down for some wild cows to get some leather to make a lectern, so that I can get myself a mending villager. This is the reason that I'm abusing villager mechanics in this update, as future updates to villagers will prevent this from being as easy. Villagers have a tendency to not have an infinite supply of emeralds every day, which, as someone who's broke as shit, I can fully relate to. So I began stocking up on sticks in a double chest to save until they magicked themselves some money. I had a spare unemployed villager, so I took the opportunity to make him into a librarian. I aimed to get Mending on him, which I ended up getting in record time. His name will be Mr. Mendy, named after one of my secondary school teachers who was half a legend. I did a little AFK session when I went to go and have a scran, and came back to all my wheat fully grown. I harvested it and had enough to trade with my farmer. I got the not guaranteed pumpkin trade on him too, which reminded me to set up a pumpkin farm with the pumpkins I got earlier. I traded more with my villagers, including my farmer, who I bought Girl Scout cookies from until he wanted to sell me golden carrots. With that trade unlocked, the fact I lost 90% of my food supply in the caves no longer matters as much. Mr. Mendy didn't want to buy my paper, but did want to sell me bookshelves, so my need for a sugarcane farm was completely obsolete. The one fucking time I make one early on, I don't need it. Typical. Anyways, I made a cartographer because they're guaranteed to buy paper, and I don't want to feel like I completely wasted my time making that farm. I sold my paper, bought me some pure gold scran, before beginning the leveling process for my toolsmiths and weaponsmith. This process is either really expensive, as you have to mine for minerals to sell, or really time consuming if you want to take the cheaper method and buy swords. Because I'm a lazy bugger, I chose the latter option, which, looking back, didn't make for good content. I should have definitely gone mining again, but oh well. I will in the next episode, I promise. I played the long game, buying swords and bells and selling flint to finally level up my weaponsmith to master. From there, I was able to purchase my diamond sword and diamond axe. Now, just the toolsmith to go, which again, I played the long game for. Jesus Christ, I need to be more entertaining. The toolsmith I found a tad easier to level up, as the purchase of stone axes was significantly cheaper than those of the enchanted iron swords that the weaponsmiths were selling. It still took a while, but I pulled through and got me some tools, also at a cheaper price to my weapons. And with that, the hard work was done. The villagers were exploited and I had my full diamond gear without mining a single diamond. I had a mending trade, an infinite source of food, and more Fletchers than probably necessary. Now, I know what you're thinking. The new villager mechanics will re-roll all the trades on existing villagers. How is doing this going to help when that happens? And to that I say, I can get more mending books than I'll reasonably need in the meantime, and when the update does come out, I'll have so many mending books that I won't need to bother with new villager mechanics. This concludes my first episode of my Minecraft survival series. Consider this a pilot of sorts. If it does well, I'll do more. If it doesn't, then I guess I'll go fuck myself. In the next episode, I plan to go mining, fuck around more with villagers, gather me some more mending books, and venture to the nether. A starter base is probably also a good shout, so stay tuned to see that. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button, and possibly share with a friend if you think they'd be interested. And until next time, goodbye.